seen unprecedented rises in incidents of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. This Holocaust Memorial Day, we must all remember our common humanity. We must remember, too, that the prevention of atrocities begins at home, and we must seek to unite our communities, prevent hatred and polarisation, and warn against the dangers posed by insidious hatred. This year's theme, Fragility of Freedom, is a call for us to reject complacency and to pay attention to the processes that restrict and remove the freedoms of those targeted for persecution. As soon as the Nazis took power in 1933, they weaponised every lever of the state to erode the freedoms of German Jews, passing decrees and regulations to limit the participation of Jewish people in public life. The 1935 Nuremberg laws proscribed marriage between Jews and non-Jews, and in so doing robbed Jewish people of their freedom of religion and self-identification. As Nazi horror spread against Europe, Jews in occupied countries were forced into ghettos and deported to concentration or extermination camps. This was the ultimate manifestation of violence, which took away their freedom to live. But it did not come from nowhere. That's why this year's theme asks us to remember how climates for genocide are created. It's a reminder that freedom can be vulnerable and that we should not take it for granted. By providing a focal point, Holocaust Memorial Day ensures that we come together to remember and to mourn victims of genocide each and every year. This week, local activities will be taking place all over the UK, and I pay tribute to the many organisers who are ensuring that generations of young people continue to hear these vital messages. It's estimated that more than 10,000 such local activities take place across the UK around the 27th of January each year. That is a magnificent achievement. I pay tribute also to the Holocaust Educational Trust and the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust, who have worked hard to embed understanding about the Holocaust into our education system. It's thanks to the Holocaust Educational Trust that learning about the Holocaust has now been a compulsory part of the national curriculum for more than 30 years. Since 2006, the Trust's Lessons from Auschwitz project has allowed post-16 students in schools and colleges to visit Auschwitz-Birkenau. In the face of dangerous Holocaust denial and distortion, these lessons are of paramount importance. Recognising the essential nature of Holocaust education, we have supported the Holocaust Memorial Bill from its outset. Just like Holocaust Memorial Day, the Holocaust Memorial and Learning Centre will provide yet another essential focal point for genocide education and commemoration in the UK. It will preserve the memory of the Holocaust, convey the truths about its nature, and crucially, serve as a fitting tribute to the 6 million Jewish people murdered by the Nazis. Mr Deputy Speaker, I am pleased that today's debate has given us the opportunity to come together to reject hatred and to strive for a better future, never forgetting the lives, families and communities lost to the most horrifying violence.
Minister.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr Deputy Speaker. This is my first attendance at a Holocaust Memorial Day debate in this place. And I have to say, Mr Deputy Speaker, I'm rather glad that it is, because I must be honest with the House, if I had had any idea as to the raw emotion, I might have dodged it. I can tell the House I'm so glad I didn't. It's been sad, it's been frightening, but every word has been worth hearing. I want to thank the House and all of those who have contributed to today's debate. It has been a true privilege, Mr Deputy Speaker, to be here to hear. As many Right Honourable and Honourable Members have noted, this year's day's theme is Fragility of Freedom. That's not just a fragility of freedom in emerging democracies or elsewhere in the world. It is a threat and a challenge to all of our mature Western democracies, where we have grown, frankly, Mr. Deputy Speaker, complacent of our rights and our privileges, our freedoms to think, speak, write, congregate, worship, pray. Too much of it under attack, whether from social media, the ease of populism, the search for the simple in a complex world. So much we hold dear is under pressure. So therefore, let us today, cross-party, as this debate has amplified, the House can do at its best, when it's at its best, champion and defend all that we hold and cherish dear to our hearts. But let us do more than that. Let us not just be armchair or indeed green bench Democrats. Let us be, as my honourable friend, the member for Brigham Goole, suggested, muscular and robust in our stance and in our defence. Because in collaborative defence, there is courage, there is hope, and there is opportunity. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the big numbers of the Holocaust make it hard to envisage, as all big numbers and statistics do. So let us just pause for a moment, not to think of 6 million as just another statistic. The Auschwitz Memorial Twitter feed, or X feed as we now have to call it, virtually every day, and I follow it, presents a picture or pictures of men, women, children, ordinary folk, starved, taken from their homes, persecuted, and incinerated, the true meaning of the word Holocaust, for their faith. Let us recommit to always seeing these people for what they are, people, fellow human beings, never as just a statistic, whether they be Jewish, Bosnian, Rwandan, or Cambodian. The issue that we must always remember, and as many contributors to the debate have reminded us so powerfully this afternoon, is that the Jewish people has always been a people forced to look over their shoulders down the centuries. Pogroms, Holocaust, displacement, the protocols of the Elders of Zion, the Dreyfus case. A people always worried that they are only temporarily tolerated rather than permanently welcomed. I'm going to call her my right honourable friend, the right honourable lady, the member for Barking. She added a poignancy to her characteristically brave and bold remarks and thinking by reminding the House, sadly, that this is the last debate that she will take part in as a Member of Parliament. As the right honourable gentleman, the member for Orkney and Shetland said, she will be missed, but she won't be forgotten. And her words, her important words on this issue, particularly during difficult years for her and her Jewish colleagues in her party, and thank God that is changing, where she stood bravely on difficult and hostile benches, and she made her case as she did today. My job, Mr. Deputy Speaker, is to reply to the debate, to respond to speeches. So I'm going to try, with the leave of the House, just to reference a nugget or two from each contribution, because I think they merit it, and the seriousness of the issues at hand do as well. And I'm grateful to the Honourable Lady from the opposition, both for her words and for the spokesman for the SNP, and I know that she's given me a little bit more time than the usual channels may have agreed to. My honourable friend, the member for Worthing West, the father of the House, spoke powerfully about the fragility of democracy. He was right, and as so many members went on to do, point to the importance of education. We don't repeat when we know, and we only know when we are educated. The right honourable gentleman, the member for Orkney and Shetland, spoke about his constituency and the story of rescuing those fleeing persecution in Norway, a new piece of historical fact to me, and the House would be grateful for it. My right honourable and gallant friend, the member for Beckenham, spoke in his characteristically frank but moving way about his experience in Yugoslavia. 2 points I would say to my right honourable friend. He is right to remind the House, and we are right to remind ourselves, that those events took place not in a faraway land of which we knew nothing, but on our doorstep in just 1993. And I want to say this personally to my right honourable friend. He spoke of his shame and the shame of his mother. For what it's worth, can I say to him, he has nothing to be ashamed about. He and his men did their best, and that is all we as a democracy can ever ask. The member for West Ham, who is in Westminster Hall on a debate about religious freedom, so there is a link even today. She's not in her place for that reason, but she gave us a powerful speech on Rwanda. She reminded us of the horror of rape and sexual violence, as my honourable friend the member for Hendon and for Brigham Goole and for Chipping Barnet did in relation to the horror events of October the 7th. I sat and listened, Mr. Deputy Speaker, as a husband and a father of 3 daughters, and who would not be moved to think that those horrible events could be taking place just a few short weeks ago. A common theme has been smell, an often underspoken of sense. We talk about our memories of what we've seen or heard, but smell can be hugely evocative of a time, place in our childhood, a holiday, or whatever. My honourable friend for Hendon is a doctor. He will have been used to the smell of medical things, I have no doubt. My right honourable friend, the member for Chipping Barnet, and my honourable friend, the member for Brigham Goole, spoke also of the recent smell of death and rotting flesh. A great friend of mine's father had been part of the medical team going into Belsen, and to his death, he always spoke about the smell that was still on his skin. We should remember that always. I have referenced, Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Honourable Lady speech from Edinburgh West, where again she spoke of the complacency of its all history. It's not, it's happening now. And when we think it's history, when we think it either isn't happened or can't happen again, we've lost the battle, haven't we? Because what was the Holocaust? And why should we remember it? We can remember it for the horror and the statistics and the figures and the scale. But the eternal shame, to use my right honourable friend from Beckenham's phrase, is that it was man's inhumanity to man. And we should all be ashamed and embarrassed by it, because it shows at the darkest and basest moments of humankind precisely what we can do to each other in the name of doctrine, in the name of theology, in the name of ideology. It is a terrible thing that we have somewhere deep within our DNA. Let us resolve to keep it buried. My honourable friend, the member for Mole Valley, spoke powerfully about hatred and prejudice, and again spoke of the importance of education. I want to especially mark the speech of the honourable gentleman, the member for Birmingham Selly Oak. I hope he won't take it the wrong way when I say I thought it was in his frank assessment of current events that he gave us, for a member for Birmingham, it was a brave speech. I was pleased to hear it. The House will be grateful to have heard it, and he should be commended, I say this for what it's worth, for delivering it with the heartfelt and sincere way that he did. My honourable friend, the member for West Bromwich East, in that simple memory of a shoe and a piece of makeup, so reminiscent of the museum where the shoes of those who died were gathered up as a reminder. I think it just reminds us of the simplicity and therefore the futility. Ordinary people going about their lives in an ordinary way on an ordinary day, and suddenly, as a result of somebody's bigotry and hatred, all taken up. The lipstick, the powder, the mascara, whatever it may happen to be, the pair of dancing shoes, they will stand as a longer-lasting memorial than any statue or plaque that could be erected. My honourable friend, the member for Harrow East, again this theme of education, and I pay tribute to all of those, the Holocaust Educational Trust and others who day in and day out ensure that we never forget. We are right to remind ourselves of the importance of that. And those who have spoken of the important role that our universities and schools play in order to ensure free and fair speech, that all voices can be heard, that tolerance and toleration are the hallmarks of a civilised democracy. They need to step up to the plate, Mr. Deputy Speaker, and play their part, as this place does, in ensuring that those are preserved and protected. The Honourable Lady, the member for the opposition, gave a heartfelt speech, as did the SNP spokesman, and we commend her for that. And how right my right honourable friend, the member for Chipping Barnet, and my honourable friend, the member for Harrow East, were to remind us of the uncomfortable truth, as the right honourable lady for Barking did as well, of our slightly uncomfortable position with regards to the welcoming of Jewish children through the kinder transport, but not their parents, and the controls that we place with regards to Jewish migration and the problems that that caused for too many people. I could go on, Mr. Deputy Speaker, because this has been a moving debate on a mammoth issue of both history, 80 years ago, and more recent, but also so fresh and contemporary today, it chills us to the bone and it scares us. But in conclusion, let me say this. However, and I should actually apologise to the Hansard scribes, my officials will have given you a typed speech. As usual, I've ignored it because the speeches I've heard this afternoon were given from the hearts of my colleagues, and I wanted to respond on behalf of the government in kind. So, Mr. Deputy Speaker, however, wherever, whoever and whenever, how they died, where they died, who they were, let us unite today and always to mark and reflect all of those who have lost their lives to both the Holocaust and all Holocausts. May all of their sacrifices not have been in vain. May all of their memories, Mr. Deputy Speaker, be a blessing.
Dame Margaret Hodge to wind up the debate.
I'm not going to keep the House, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I just want to echo the words of the Minister and actually the Right Honourable Member for Chipping Barnet. I think this is the House at its best when we can all speak across the chamber in unity on issues which are probably a million times more important than anything else we debate in the House through the years. So I thank every member of the House who has participated in the debate today for their very warm speeches and their very important speeches. And then I just wanted to reflect a little bit. I also went to the Nova Festival that the Honourable Member for West Bromwich went to, and the Honourable Member for Chipping Barnet mentioned. And I think that picture of the shoes lying there of people who were slaughtered at that festival and how it reminded us of the Holocaust and what you see in Auschwitz is just something that I don't think any of us can forget. I never smelt the smell in Kfar. We probably went a few weeks after the two honourable members, but I felt the misery and the horror that they all experienced in that. And I agree with all honourable members that the growth of anti-Semitism on our streets today, as with the growth of Islamophobia, is something which should chill us all and should make us think about how we do. My final words really come from what the Honourable Member for Harrow East said. Jews have maintained hope through the generations. That's probably why we've survived in the way we have. And I hope that we can leave today's debate with a feeling of hope and determination that we will build a society of tolerance, both here and across the world, and that we should learn that hate will not bring us that peaceful coexistence that we all want. But freedom is fragile, and we have to all put every effort into securing freedom for everybody, wherever they live, whoever they are, and whatever their background and religion. Thank you, Mr. Davis.
May I thank all honourable members who participated today for the manner in which they've conducted themselves I'm sure it will have been appreciated outside this House as well as within it. Question is, as on the order paper. As many of that opinion say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it.
I beg to move that this House do now adjourn.
The question is that this House do now adjourn. Mr. Ben Everitt.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I'm hugely grateful to have been granted this adjournment debate today on a matter that's it means so much to me, my constituents in Milton Keynes North, but also my good friend, the Honourable Member for Milton Keynes South here. So my constituency, and indeed the whole of Milton Keynes, is growing. It's growing all the time. Milton Keynes is one of the fastest growing cities in the UK. More and more folks with families and young couples looking to start a family are moving to Milton Keynes. Our freshly minted city, 57 years old this week, is a wonderful place to build and grow a family. People want to build their families in Milton Keynes because there is opportunity in Milton Keynes. Opportunity in terms of high-skilled jobs, good schools, green neighbourhoods for children to grow up in. Milton Keynes is the place to be, Mr. Deputy Speaker. But a growing city brings challenges along with it, particularly for our healthcare infrastructure. More people means more of a need for more healthcare capacity, both in the short term and the long term. And I'd like to thank government so far in the efforts that we've achieved to meet this challenge head on. For those reasons, I'm delighted about the investment that we've seen since I became the MP in 2019. A good example would be the community diagnostic centres. Backed by £2.3 billion worth of government funding, they're making a significant impact in reducing the COVID-19 backlogs and delivering an extra 6 million vital tests, checks and scans to date. And these community diagnostic centres include two in Milton Keynes. We've got one up and running in the White House Health Centre, and we've got one coming soon in Lloyd's Court in central Milton Keynes. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the Maple Centre as well is another important step in the right direction, helping provide same-day emergency care, meaning patients can get the treatment they need without being admitted to the hospital itself. This has reduced pressure on the main emergency department in MK University Hospital, ensuring patients are treated in the environment which best meets their healthcare needs. In its first year, the centre treated over 20,000 patients. So I want to offer my thanks to the staff at the centre, who I know work really hard to provide the best quality care they can for their patients. I also welcome the government's urgent and emergency care plan, alongside an investment of over £1 billion to deliver 5,000 more hospital beds. This will free up beds for patients needing urgent and emergency care and ultimately reduce pressures on hospitals. And this includes £3 million of investment in Milton Keynes, where we've got a new 22-bed ward with extra clinical space. I'm also delighted that the government is funding a new breast cancer screening unit at Milton Keynes University Hospital. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Milton Keynes University Hospital serves not just the people of Milton Keynes, but communities in the surrounding areas, acting as a cornerstone in the region. Work must continue to safeguard the healthcare needs of future generations.
Could my honourable friend give way?
Of course.
I'm very grateful, Mr. Deputy Speaker. I'm grateful for my honourable friend for giving way. He makes an important point that, yes, the hospital is there for Milton Keynes, but also the surrounding areas for towns like Buckingham and Winslow and the villages around those. But we do not agree it's also a very important partnership with the University of Buckingham and the medical centre that they are in partnership with the hospital there. That has really driven up clinical standards. When I was first elected in 2010, standards in Milton Keynes were not good. They're now amongst the best in the country, so that's something that should be cherished and bodes well for future investment.
Indeed, I agree wholeheartedly. In fact, I remember campaigning with him to get that partnership up and running back in 2015. And it really is, it's a virtuous circle. Because it's now a teaching hospital, people want to go there to learn, and standards go up. And it is one of the best places to work in the region. Fantastic staff and fantastic management in the hospital. One of the best measures we have for a healthcare system is its capacity to provide everyone with the specialist care that they need. And that's why I was very, very pleased that we got the announcement that we're going to have, it's agreed in principle, the construction of a women and children's hospital, which is the subject of this debate today. It's part of the new hospital programme, and it has been quite a journey. Getting the new Women and Children's Hospital onto the list of 40 new hospitals and then keeping it there with COVID and build cost inflation and concrete rot being found in other hospitals that then bumped them up the priority list. It has been hard work to keep our hospital on that list. And I want to pass my sincere thanks to the hard work that my right honourable friend from Milton Keynes South has put in, but also Professor Joe Harrison at Milton Keynes Hospital. So on the list we are. The Treasury has confirmed the funding. We are a go. Our new hospital will act as the home for paediatric and maternity care in Milton Keynes. And whilst doing that, it will increase surgical capacity. So through the new hospital programme, the new hospital and the existing hospital will be able to utilise the latest technological developments to create smarter hospital facilities. This means more up-to-date systems and devices, leading to better efficiency and better care across the whole hospital estate. Another point which might be overlooked is that with maternity and paediatric care being moved to the new hospital, this will free up capacity in the existing hospital for other clinical requirements. Building new hospitals is often not just about new facilities, which is of course important, but it's about improving existing facilities and care. And MK University Hospital will be able to move forward with its own expansion plans, and in this sense, we can fully begin to unlock the full potential of our healthcare infrastructure in MK. Having seen the architect's designs and the impressions as we have them so far of this new hospital, I can only be excited. It's a brilliant future we have ahead of us with this new hospital. It's clear the hospital will act as a symbol of how far our city has come. But I also feel that the hospital will act as a symbol of the new hospital programme overall, a symbol of the benefits of this government's ambitious levelling up agenda. Of course, having a new hospital focused on women and children is not just about the additional treatment. It's about creating the right environment for that care to take place, an environment where women feel comfortable to talk about their health without distress or worry, an environment where children can feel that they are cared for in their own setting. The integration between maternity and paediatric care is absolutely key, and having these services all under one roof will make life easier for nurses and doctors, but also families. Mr. Deputy Speaker, the health of our women and children is of fundamental importance. We must therefore keep pushing for this new hospital to be built as soon as possible to ensure that Milton Keynes can provide the best care for our young families and make sure that MK is the best place possible to respond to challenges of population growth. With funding having already been announced last year in May, I hope funds can be released soon so that we can get the plans finalised and get on with the construction work. I know that many back in MK are itching to get the green light and get on with the project. So I would welcome any updates on the hospital and where we are on the timeline. Delivering the new 40 new hospitals by 2030 is key to meeting our manifesto commitments from 2019. Getting this hospital up and running as soon as possible will demonstrate in no uncertain terms the government is more committed than ever to that target. Thank you.
Minister.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker. Can I start by congratulating my honourable friend, the member for Milton Keynes North, for securing a debate on this important issue. He is a tireless campaigner for better healthcare in Milton Keynes, alongside my honourable friend, the member for Milton Keynes South. Before I go on to talk about the new hospital, Mr Deputy Speaker, I would like to thank my honourable friend for mentioning the Milton Keynes new diagnostic centres. And I'm delighted that the White House Health Centre is already carrying out tests, checks and scans for his constituents, with another CDC in Lloyd's Court Shopping Centre coming very soon. As my honourable friend laid out, Milton Keynes University Hospital has already seen improvements to emergency and cancer care facilities. The addition of a dedicated new Women's and Children's Centre through the new hospital programme builds on this record of investment. Both my honourable friends, along with the Conservative candidate for Milton Keynes South, Johnny Luck, have spoken to me in detail about the huge difference this investment will make for local people. I feel my honourable friend, the member for Milton Keynes North, hit the nail on the head in pointing out the smarter hospital design that we have developed as part of this programme and how that design will benefit patients. He's entirely right. It will improve patient care with features like more single rooms to give new mums the privacy they deserve, or for families comforting sick children. I might add, it is a major plus for staff working in our NHS too. Better lines of sight to monitor patients from nurses' stations, better IT and equipment so less time is wasted on non-clinical tasks, a lighter, brighter environment to work in. The hospital will also be a boost to my right honourable friend the Secretary of State's emphasis on women's health and maternity care, and I know she will follow the hospital's progress with keen interest. As my honourable friend said, Milton Keynes is rapidly expanding. As the penny drops and people realise what a fantastic place it is to live, work and raise children. Thanks in no small part, I'm sure, to both my honourable friends' zealous and spirited pursuit of Milton Keynes' interests within this House. And the Government is bearing this important fact in mind as we work very closely with the Milton Keynes University Hospital Foundation Trust on their plans for the new Women and Children's Hospital, Surgical Ward Block and the Imaging Centre. In May last year, the Government announced a further 5 hospitals as part of our commitment to build 40 new hospitals by 2030. Structures that were mostly built using reinforced autoclave aerated concrete, commonly known as RAC, will be rebuilt by 2030 as part of the new hospitals programme, along with 2 hospitals that were already included on the list, because we will not cut any corners protecting patients and staff safety. And we remain committed to every scheme announced as part of the new hospitals programme. I'm pleased to inform my honourable friend that Milton Keynes Trust submitted their refreshed strategic outline business case to the programme last week on the 19th of January. This will now progress through the appropriate assurance processes as set out in the Treasury Green Book. To ensure the Trust plans are aligned with the national programme approach and are deliverable and will provide value for taxpayers' money. But the intention is very much that these plans will be delivered at pace and with rigour. Mr Deputy Speaker, I'm pleased to inform the House that up to the end of 2022-2023 financial year, the scheme received over £11 million for scheme development funding. In the current financial year, we've released over £600,000 extra to help the Trust develop the business case for the new Patient Imaging Centre, and £120,000 for the development of business cases for a multi-storey car park and high-voltage supply upgrade. I look forward to receiving further business cases from the Trust, and I commit to updating my honourable friend as funding is released for this important scheme. All the money we've released to date are key milestones in delivering the plan for the people of Milton Keynes and the surrounding areas, enabling construction teams to crack on early, preparing the site to be completed ahead of the main construction commencing in the second half of this decade. The funds also demonstrate our commitment to delivering a new Milton Keynes Hospital by 2030 as part of the new hospitals programme. And Mr Deputy Speaker, with the leave of the House, I would like to just end by providing a more general update on the ambitious and vital work we're undertaking as part of that programme. I'm very pleased that 4 hospitals are now open to patients: the Northern Centre for Cancer Care, the Royal Liverpool Hospital, Stage 1 of the Louisa Martindale, also known as the 3Ts Hospital in Brighton, and the Northgate and Ferndean Hospitals in Northumberland. A further hospital, the Salford Royal Major Trauma Centre, is complete and is due to open shortly, with another 17 hospitals either in construction or in early construction with activity well underway to prepare their sites. This includes surveys and crucial work on non-clinical infrastructure such as energy centres, demolitions or car parking. My ministerial colleague with responsibility for the new hospitals programme, Lord Markham, has been visiting these sites up and down the country to see firsthand how some of the schemes are progressing. And I can assure my honourable friend his lordship's enthusiasm for the programme matches his own enthusiasm. So can I thank the honourable member for continuing to champion this investment in his constituency and for his continued engagement on the new hospital scheme. He is right to hold our feet to the fire, and let the record show we are committed to every scheme announced as part of the new hospital programme and delivering the new hospital in Milton Keynes by 2030, because, Mr Deputy Speaker, I know that my honourable friend will be holding ministers to account as he does so diligently on this and so many other issues. Thank you.
Question is that this House to stand adjourned. As many of that opinion say aye. Aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. Order, order.
The proceeding has ended. 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 The proceeding has ended.